Hello again, everyone. I'm here today with a new TWSBI fountain pen that I had not intended to get, but I did. And I'll explain why here in a minute. But I also have a book of the new Tomoe River paper with the Sanzen, which I think is what it's called, Tomoe River paper, with the new company that is making it. So I am going to do just a quick comparison of this pen and ink on this new Tomoe River paper and the old Tomoe River paper. I'm actually going to do the last page like this so that the surface that I'm writing on is similar, because sometimes if you have a bunch of cushioning as opposed to just on the pad, it'll write differently. So I'm going to try and do it that way. I will test this out a little bit more and perhaps do a more thorough review later. I just have not had a lot of time to do that. This has actually been sitting around for a couple of weeks already, and I haven't been able to get to it. So that's why I wanted to at least try it out a little bit today with this new pen and ink combo. So I'll leave these here for now. And this pen, so this is a customized TWSBI 580 in the iris color. So I already have the iris color in the VAC TWSBI, which is what it can, I think it's the 800R, something like that. And I figured, I have that. I don't need another iris colored one, even if it's a different model, although I do like the 580s. But the reason why I went ahead and got this is that Pendleton Pens was offering it with a customized nib. And their customized nib plus the pen was actually pretty inexpensive. So I decided to go ahead and get that combo. So this is some test writing that the nib grinder sent to me of testing out this pen. I'm not sure what this ink is. This person has very flourishy handwriting, so I can't read all of it. But I'm pretty sure the ink is not down here. The ink that I have in here now is this Wearingeul Stonecutter Song ink, which is really lovely. I'm not sure if it's the best match for this pen, but it was just kind of the next ink that was up for me to put in a pen. And so I decided to try it out. It looks okay. But it's been sitting in here for a couple of days, actually more like a week. And I figure it should be plenty primed for us to write with it today. And this is supposedly what this nib looks like, which I'll show you in more detail here in a minute. So this nib has Angel Wing Falcon Flex, which is not that flexy. I'll tell you that first off, because I do have another nib from them that supposedly has a little bit of flex, and it's not that flexy either, and I've already written with this once. But it does have little cutouts to make it a little bit soft, basically. I should probably say it's a soft nib as opposed to a flex nib. And then it does have a type of cursive italic fine on top of that little bit of softness. And I think this particular cursive italic is called something like butter smooth italic, something like that. I can't really read that. So I can't remember the exact name of it. And he has a few different names for different nibs, and I'm not quite sure what all the distinctions are, but I will put a link to Pendleton Pens so that you can check him out. He often has pens that already have nibs that have been custom ground on his site. So it's kind of a nice way to pick up a custom grind without a lot of hassle, because you can just get the pen and the grind at the same time. And he has, the nicer mid-range to lower range pens, like the TWSBI, and I've seen some other lower end brands, that make it kind of inexpensive to get the combo. All right, so now I'm going to actually show you the nib itself, and let's see if I can get that in focus. So you can see it does have those little cutouts there on the side. So there's one right here, and then there's one right here on this side. And then of course, because this is the iris, we do have the iris coloring, which is sort of a rainbow coloring on the nib. And depending on the pen that you get, the coloring could be different on each pen, because it kind of shifts from purple to blue to yellow, maybe a little bit of green in there. But so this nib is mostly purple and blue, whereas you're getting some more yellow down here, yellow and pink. So I mean, it's kind of nice in that you get a lot of different color shift, but I'm getting a lot of purple in this particular one. And this one's like a little bit greenish with the purple. And I think that is acrylic paint on my nail. I apologize for that. But yeah, so this one skews more purple, which is fine. I like purple. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna write, the quick brown fox on both of these. I'm gonna write what the pen is. And then we're just gonna have a really quick example and my first impression of writing on this new Tomoe River paper, which I have never written on before. Like I said, this will be my true first impression, so I'm not gonna have a lot of details about it at this point. I just have not had a lot of time to test it out. So like I said, I'm going to go with the last page in here and have it, oops, assuming I can get them apart. Seems just as thin. Okay, yeah, so actually let's do some first impressions. Oh, and since there is this, it's not really laying flat to the surface, I'm actually going to put my writing on this side, just so that we have the surface here. All right, so feel, let's see. So I think they feel about the same weight, and they also feel similar in feel. I'm noticing a little bit of gloss on the new Tomoe River paper that I'm not noticing on the old Tomoe River paper. Just a little bit, not a whole lot. And I'm trying to move it with the light to see if that's actually the case. And actually, I would say, because both of these are the same color, I think, and I think the old Tomoe River paper is a little bit more cream colored, because this is not the cream colored Tomoe River, it's the white Tomoe River, but even so, it's a little more cream colored. This is lined and this is dot grid, so they're going to be a little bit different in that aspect. Okay, but feel is very, very similar, so I'm very interested. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write on the old standby first. So I know this one really, really well. I write with this all the time. I'm going to, ooh, sorry, my camera is deciding to be a little lopsided. Okay, so let me get this notebook out of the way for now so that it doesn't interfere with my writing. And then I'll pick that one back up and we'll write on that as well. And I think this is, actually this might not be Tomoe River paper because it's not as thin. I'm not sure what he wrote on there. Okay, so with the 580 you can post it, but it's very awkward and very back heavy. So I am going to keep it unposted, and I'm going to go to the side because that's kind of my natural angle how I write, and then I'm going to turn my camera so that it will look straight to you. Okay, so this pen is the TWSBI 580 Iris. I'm just going to say with a Pendleton nib. Custom nib, sorry. All right, and then the ink is Wearing Cool, I think that's how you spell that. Stonecutter Song. So yeah, this nib is actually quite nice. So the downstroke, because this is a fine cursive italic, you're not going to get as much variation as you would with like a medium cursive italic or more, or broad or double broad or whatever. But you are still going to get line variation. So you get quite a thinner line side to side than you do up and down. If you hold it at an angle, you can kind of get the thick and thin lines when you do the, and there is, if you can see, there is just a little bit of give when I do that. I'm not pushing hard at all, but I would not call that flex, basically, is what I'm trying to say. It's a little soft, which is nice because I like a softer nib, so I like that aspect of it. All right, so there's just the name of the pen, the ink, and a little demo of the line width. And now let's do the quick brown fox. Jumps over the lazy dog. All right, and then I'm also going to do this in block lettering. I think this nib works better for cursive. And I don't do much block lettering these days. Okay, so now I sort of have a baseline for what it's going to feel to write with this pen on my standard old Tomoe River paper. The nib is not, I would not call it butter smooth, but it is quite, it's semi-smooth, I would say, but you're always going to get a little bit of sharpness, especially with a fine cursive italic, because you can get a little bit of catching on the paper. All right, so I'm going to put this off to the side, and then I'm going to get out the new Tomoe River paper. And hopefully I have not touched it too much with my hands here. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna push this down, and then I'm going to actually write further on this side of the paper so that it won't be affected by this little bit of a lift here from under the table. Okay, so this is, we'll just do the same thing. This is the TWSBI. Oh, I'm already noticing quite a bit more feedback. TWSBI Iris with Pendleton custom nib. Yeah, definitely more feedback on this paper. Ink is Wrangell Stonecutters Song. Okay, and let's see. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling more, it's interesting. So a little, about the same amount of feedback with up and down stroke, a little bit more side to side. Turn the pen at an angle. Okay, and then let's do the quick brown fox. Jumps over the lazy dog. Yeah, this nib is digging in a little bit. And now I'm gonna do and I actually wonder if I would get fibers from the paper stuck in my nib. And I'm trying to think whether I have a nib that might work well that's really super smooth so I can see the difference. Here, let me get this. So this is the Shown Designs small 10. I'm gonna try to get it going on the, I've been having so much trouble with this nib. I got it flowing really well for a while, and then for some reason I can't get it to write. All right, so let me find a smooth nib. What would I choose? Okay, let's see. All right, well, we could try this. So this is a Fude nib on one of these little Moonman pens. Okay, so that's working well. So let's just do it in cursive and see here. And this lays down a bunch of ink too. So let's give it a comparison to the old one. And then I think that's all I'm going to do for today because I just don't have time for more. Oh, the old paper is so much better. It's really sad because clearly there will never be a replacement for the old Tomoe River paper. All right, well, let's go ahead and put these side by side here. Oh, sorry. Trying to get, let me actually zoom out a little bit. Oh God, my camera. Okay. So I'm not really noticing much difference. Well, actually that's not true. So this line looks a little bit broader here. I think it's taking in less ink than the old Tomoe River paper is, or either that or this is sitting on the paper more so than this, because your line is a little bit more broad, and the ink seems to be a little bit heavier flowing on this paper as opposed to this paper. I'm going to tell you my first impression is I don't like this paper. I don't like the new Tomoe River paper. This is definitely better for me, for my style of writing. But look how much more ink lays down on this paper than this paper. Yeah, that's just not cool, guys. And there's definitely a lot more feedback here. I think one of the things that is nice about this is you do see a lot of the shading. Probably can't even see it very well with this camera angle, but you do get quite a bit of shading here in these especially, and it's sort of a different shading than the Tomoe River paper, which the shading is actually showing up more prominent in person than on the camera. But unfortunately, and just if I touch it, you know, I guess I can feel that this is a little bit rougher, which makes sense because there is a little bit more feedback on this. But yeah, I'm going to test this out a little bit more, but I don't think that this is going to be the Tomoe River paper replacement for me. All right, well, those are my first impressions. I'm going to leave it at that for now. That's all I had for you today. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. I'll put all the applicable links down below, including where I got this paper, if you want to try it out. And take care. Thanks so much. Bye.